In this lesson, we're going to start creating the particle system for our explosion. Okay, so we've done our initial setup for getting our emitter, our particle, and our broken wall here. So now let's go ahead and actually start creating this particle flow source. So let's go to our Create panel, and we're going to go to Geometry and Particle Systems. And we're just going to drag in a particle flow source in here. And let me go ahead and switch to my perspective view. And let's just drag one in here. It doesn't really matter where. Okay, this is all right. And now I say that it doesn't matter where we drag this simply because we're going to be using another object as the emitter. Now, if it makes you more comfortable to go ahead and line this up, you're more than welcome to do that. I am going to make this a little bit closer to my wall just so I know which one this actually is. So let's go ahead and move this over and just kind of make it kind of off to the side here. There we go. So that way I know what it's associated with. And I could actually go ahead and name this. So let's go ahead and name it, call it Explosion. And we'll do 0, 1 just in case you're going to do multiple explosions on this building. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to our our Modify panel so we can actually access our particle view. And in here we have our smoke, we have our fire, and then there we have Explosion 0, 1. So let's go ahead and start setting up these events and operators to create our behavior. Now, the way I want this to work is I want my, excuse me there, let me move this so it's actually on screen still. The way I want this to work is I want my emitter or my particles to emit from my brick wall emitter. Okay, so the first thing that we want to go ahead and change is called the position icon. We want to change this to that position object. So let's select position object and let's go ahead and drag this right over the top of position icon to replace it. And we're going to go ahead and add that to our emitter object. So we're going to do by list because we've got several objects right here and that could be a little hard to actually pick. So let's do by list and we have brick emitter and we're going to hit select. Okay, so now when we move our time slider, you'll see those particles are emitting from our system here. Now I want to go ahead and rotate my particle flow source. Let's go ahead and rotate this 90 degrees on our Y, just so that our particles will actually emit outward. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead and you'll notice that these particles are emitting all over this surface here of our brick emitter. So let's actually constrain it to a specific set of polygons here. So we want these polygons to come out of the area that is actually the whole of our broken wall. So let's go ahead and go to our right view. Let's just move over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just close this particle view out just for right now. And I'm going to select my emitter. Try to get it there. There we go. And you can kind of see what we need to select. So let's go ahead and grab that select tool. And we don't have to be exact on this, but we do want to kind of have that overall shape there. Now you'll notice that I didn't go to polygon mode, so let's try that one more time. And let's just go ahead and draw that around one more time there. Okay, so we have these polygons selected. They may not be exact, but that's okay. We've got a good majority of those polygons that are missing from that hole there in our broken wall. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's go to our particle flow source. Let's just go ahead and click on Editable Poly just to turn that off. And you're probably wondering, okay, why did we just select those polygons? Well, we selected those polygons on our emitter because we're going to actually emit these particles from those selected polygons. And let me show you how that's done. So let's go to our particle view. And we're going to go over to our event on our position icon, or object, I'm sorry. And we're going to scroll down here in our parameters panel. And we're going to do location. And we're going to do selected faces. And you'll see now these particles are constraining to around that selection that we just had with our faces. Okay? Alright, so now we've got that set up. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of different things. Let's look at our speed and how that's actually going to be coming out here. So I'm going to switch to my perspective view. Let's just hit P on the keyboard. And you know, I'm actually pretty happy with the way this is coming out, because this is going to be an explosion that comes straight out. So I want these to come right out of that area there. I do want to go ahead and actually add some spin to this, but I'm going to go ahead and wait to do that after we change the shape of our particles. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to our shape here, and we're not going to use a cube 3D. We're actually going to use our instance geometry, our brick particle here. So what we want to do is go ahead and go to Shape Instance in our depot and click and drag that and replace Shape 001. Okay, so let's select that Shape Instance, and let's go ahead and click on None and choose our brick particle. So if we click on that, you'll see brick particle has ended up in there. And okay, we should be good there. So let's go ahead and go to our display and let's turn on geometry. Okay, so now we're seeing bricks flying out here, and let's just kind of take a look at this, and you'll notice that the bricks have that initial rotation, and what we need to do is go ahead and take care of that. So we want to actually take out that rotation altogether. We do not want that initial rotation, so let's just hit delete, and you'll see that our bricks come out in a little bit even pattern here. So now let's take a look at it and just kind of scrub through this, and let's go ahead and deal with our placement of these actual bricks here. What we want to do is go ahead and kind of take care of our birth here. So you'll notice that these particles are emitting right from 0, and it's kind of blowing out bricks, and it's kind of like if it was bubbles or something like that, but we want that just kind of abrupt explosion of particles. So the way that we can actually replicate that is, let's go ahead and go to like frame 60 here, and what I want to do is actually start birthing my particles at frame 60, and let's go ahead and stop birthing those particles at 61. Okay, so now whenever we scrub this and we hit 60, those particles will start, and then it basically just emits these particles out all at the same time, giving us a little bit of a stagger here on our particles, and really that's okay. Now you'll notice that we have a few holes and things like that, so if you want to take your amount up, you can do that. I'm going to actually take my amount down. I'm going to go to 150 on this one, just to thin this out to kind of keep those bricks from interpenetrating one another. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and go back to 60 here. And we've got our initial behavior here. And now we're ready to go ahead and start creating like our spin and start adding a little bit of different forces in here, like gravity, and we'll add some collisions as well. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and do that in our next lesson.